Everyone. I've had numerous requests for pictures on the TR4, and because the pictures get so large, it becomes difficult to ship them out. So what I'm going to try to do, and this is the first attempt, is to do this through a YouTube. So we've got a 1965 TR4, and it's clear title, California title. It's been sitting in a garage in Vermont for the last 30 years. I had it trucked out here. And as you can see along the bottom plates, there is rust, but most of it is surface rust. Okay? You can see it along here, through here, same way here. Someone asked about the inner fender because these were detached. They have been off. Can you get in there, Graham? Okay? They have been off previously, so, but it's fairly solid metal in there. No places do I see any rust going all the way through. If you go into the trunk, Graham. So the trunk is completely solid, no holes, and it's one piece. The original color of the car was signal red. They had a resprayed white. They did a terrible job because they didn't do the trunks or the door linings or anything like that. So, but the body is solid. You're going to need, some of the things you'll need are the thin chrome strips that go between the fender and the body. Move to the interior. So this is the interior. All the glass is there and all the glass is solid. There is no rust in the main part of the floor. Graham, I don't know if you can get up to that corner where you see the daylight, where the foot, that back one goes into the corner.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So in both corners there's a small hole and another one over here that you'd need to patch. But other than that, the floors are solid. This is a 4-speed transmission. It is not an overdrive transmission. And I have, of course, the transmission housing and all the various pieces. So if you come up to the front, I showed you previously on the front wing. So this is the interior without the engine in it. As you can see, it's still signal red, but there is no holes in any of that. Also, you'll see there's new master cylinder, new slave cylinder that I put in. Okay, and I have the corresponding pieces for the other ends. So if you look at some of these things on the ground, I'll go through a few of them. So I've got a new clutch. I also have a new pressure plate that was balanced when I had the engine balanced. I've got new calipers as well as pads. I've got a new fuel pump, new water pump. The distributor I haven't gone through, but there's no reason, I can see it looks clean inside, that it shouldn't be okay. I have various boxes of assorted parts here. Also a box of the original lights and lenses. Okay, so most of those are in pretty good shape. The radiator I had record. I also have a box full of all the new hoses and clamps that are specified for this car. New brake lines. Now these are the twin Stromberg Carlson carburetors. They were working supposedly. I haven't torn them apart yet, but the mechanisms seem free and clear without any excess play. But I would recommend that if you do buy this car, you tear them apart, clean them up, and just put them back together. I'd already bought the new metal air cleaners and things for them. I also have a new gas tank, which is not out here. I bought that as well as a new sending unit. I also have the new tunnel piece that goes between the grill and the radiator to funnel the air in. So these are the interior pieces that I have. I've got the bucket seats. As I mentioned before to some of you that have called, the seats they're usable. The foam is in them. You can sit on them. But at some point you'd want to, if you're going to do a real restore, you'd want to put new ones in. Both the door cards, no tears. These are the quarter panel cards. So you will need the back one though, where the top goes. And I'm not even sure what that looks like. It's more like a blanket that hangs, I think. Pause it for 1 second. Okay, you'll see on the dashboard all the gauges. I even have the original radio. It's not in the car right now, but I do have the radio. All the gauges are there. Whether they work or not, they should work, but you never know. I also have the original key for the locks. And I do have, this does need a new pad, which depending on what color interior you go with, if you go with the brown or the black, you can cover this in any kind of material you want. There is a convertible top that came with the car. It's full of holes though, but the frame is there and the frame is all good. So if you intend to drive it outside in rainy weather or leave it out, you'll want to get a new top. If you live in Southern California like I do, you don't really ever use the top. So put it on hold again. Okay, this is the original motor out of the car. I had it sent it out to have it worked on, and I ended up getting a complete rebuild. So it's a long block. It has 87 millimeter oversized pistons, as well as liners, and the pistons, as well as the crank, everything was balanced. So I spent the additional money to get them all balanced. The crankshaft was reground. The camshaft, it was a used camshaft that was in better shape than mine, and it was like new. So we worked out a deal on that. Got a new timing chain, new seals in the back and the front. So everything should be good and tight. It was done by a local professional engine rebuilder. New oil pump in there. So everything should be good to go. All we need, the thermostat housing, I have a brand new one of those. It's in one of those boxes out there I showed you earlier. The valves were all redone. New stainless steel valves were put in. The tappets, not the tappets, but the push rods, they were all good. So a couple of those were replaced, but some of those are just the originals. I have the original fan. Now this one, you'll see the crank notch, and in case you're a Triumph person, this one has the notch here. It has the hole in the grill, but it does not in the radiator. So some reason why they didn't put the hole in the radiator, so you really can't crank it by hand. Why you'd want to do that, I owned a Renault, which I used to have to do that, so it's not fun. Other than that, it's been painted. Like I say, it's a local rebuilder who's got a great reputation, and he's got I believe, a 1-year warranty on it. So put it on pause for a second.